Okay. If you would, please give us an introduction of yourself.
Okay. My name's Terri, otherwise known as Tez when I'm online. I'm coming up for 55 and I'm a nurse, and the particular branch of nursing that I do is infection prevention and control. And as soon as I say that at the moment, you can understand how busy I've been in the last 18 months.
Yes, right.
Busy before that, but frantically busy with COVID. And I've taken a break from working in a hospital. I used to work in a children's hospital in Sydney, and gotten seconded to the hotel quarantine and airport region in Sydney to manage their COVID system. So yeah, it's been very interesting work, crawling around planes and cargo planes, and going into hotels and seeing how they're managing hotel quarantine. Yeah, interesting work. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm all ready if BTS come to Sydney, because I can be at the airport.
Oh, that's awesome. So I think it would be really interesting, like we've heard kind of what your work life was like or has been like this last 18 months, but just in more general terms, what was your life like before you discovered BTS?
My life before BTS was very much family orientated, and I'm very distant from my family now in kilometres or miles, because my parents, my father's Australian, my mother's English, so I grew up with a very English background from the influence of my mother. My mother's family often came out to visit us in Australia. We were very lucky that way that they came. Australia's a long way from England. So we were based in Sydney at the time, but gradually, as I'm one of 4 children, and gradually as they all got married, they left Sydney. So I sort of got, my father was, he and my parents were divorced at the time of his death, and he was actually in Sydney. So when he died and the others were all gone, I felt a bit lonely. And I didn't have a partner at the time. I do now. So my life has changed for the better since I met my partner. Yeah, he's great. And he's he's a good cook. I'm not, so it works well.
Perfect. Is he supportive of your BTS fandom?
He's supportive to an extent. So he's tolerant, I suppose you'd say. Yeah. So, I mean, he's the only one I've got to talk to about it. So he just goes, oh, yeah, okay. And he actually said to me the other day, what's that chili chutney song? And I went, what chili chutney song? He goes, oh, that song where RM and JK are singing to each other. And I'm going, oh, you know their names? and then, so we figured out which song it was, and I think it was, I think it might have been Danger. But anyway, whatever song it was, he was mishearing the words. And then the other day he said to me, oh, I really like J-Hope's Hair White. And I said, oh, you know J-Hope. I was going, oh my God. So he's taking little by little of what I'm saying. But
I think most people agree with him on J-Hope's white hair. It's a good look.
Yeah, I do. I love him with that hair. It's just awesome. Amazing how it brightened him up. Mm-hmm. Not that he wasn't bright enough already.
Now he's blinding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I said to him, oh, so I said, I thought you only knew who RM was because he's the one who speaks English. And he goes, Yeah, but I'm getting to know the others because you keep talking about them all the time.
Okay.
The poor thing, he gets his ears bashed a bit.
That's awesome. Thinking back to when you first sort of discovered BTS, like what kind of emotional state would you say you were in? Because I feel like a lot of people have had really sort of therapeutic experiences with BTS music, especially the last couple of years, but throughout BTS's existence, I guess. So how did BTS help you when you found them?
I'm going to have to go back a bit for this. When I first met my partner, I just turned 40. Being a paediatric nurse and loving children, I wanted children of my own. We did the whole IVF thing right up until I was 48 and with no success. So I think we did about 9 or 10 cycles of it. No success. Yeah. So I was, by the time I turned 50, I was starting to have menopausal symptoms and I was grappling with the whole, this is the end of my fertile life. I'm never going to have children. I'm going into middle age. I'm, having all these menopausal hot flushes and all this sort of stuff. And that was where I was at, really, when I started to get into BTS. Yeah.
And was there a particular song or video or quote or something that helped you get through it? Or
a little bit of a story with that. We got Netflix and I loved Netflix. That was the best thing. I got to watch all these videos and movies that I hadn't seen before. And I'd gone through a lot of the English ones that I wanted to watch, English language ones that I wanted to watch. And I thought I'll just watch some foreign ones. The first one I got onto was French and seemed to cope with reading subtitles and that all right. And then I thought, I'll just search in Netflix and see what else they've got. And all these Korean dramas came up and I thought, I'll watch them. And so as I'm watching more and more of these Korean dramas, they mention K-pop. And I'd sort of heard about it on the internet and didn't take much notice. And then one of the first K-dramas I watched was about 20-somethings going to uni and, all the troubles they have when they go to uni and they have boyfriends and they have part-time jobs and all this sort of stuff. And so, of course, the music they were listening to was K-pop. And so I started going, okay, so they're listening to this music. It must be interesting. Some of the soundtracks to K-dramas have K-pop in it. I thought, okay, that sounds good. I'll have a listen. I'm pretty open to different kinds of music. So I started listening to the soundtracks. And then I started hearing this BTS mentioned in a couple of K-dramas. What are you listening to? Oh, I'm listening to BTS. And what's on the radio? BTS. And, I went, who's this BTS? So I Googled them and fell down the rabbit hole that way. And it was just before Boy in Love, the one they did with Halsey.
Boy with Love.
Boy with Love, thank you. I knew I was going to get those two confused.
They did that on purpose,
Yeah. And so it was, I don't know, probably almost 2 years ago. So it's probably September 2019 that I fell down that rabbit hole. And when they released Boy with Love, and they were making this comeback, they kept mentioning comeback, and I'm going, they've been around since 2013. How can this be a comeback? So then I started to get, why, all the different language that goes along with BTS, like comebacks and
right, biases.
And musters and I'm going, all this different language.
Right.
Anyway, Festus and Yeah, so, and I guess, so I started getting more and more interested, and then I think when they did Carpool Karaoke with James Corden, I just went, who is that with the blonde hair and the stunning eyes? Jimin. And I was hit by the Jimin factor.
The Jimin effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he, like, those eyes just reached into my soul, I think. Yeah.
So did that help to like bring you out of your menopausal funk, or like?
Yeah, it has actually. So I guess what I like to think was I found them at that time towards the end of 2019, and I think it was to prepare me for the experience of COVID and the pressure that it would put on my job.
Oh, right.
And I had to sit myself down at that point and say to myself, how are you going to deal with this? Because I have a history of depression as well. In my late 20s, early 30s, I had a really bad bout of depression. And so I had to sit myself down and say, are you going to fall back towards that depressive era, or are you going to manage this and be able to run with this pandemic? Because I could see how bad it was going to get. It was going to be worse than H1N1 was in 2009. And so I knew it was going to be bad. I could foresee that. And so I think listening to what RM said and I'm getting emotional, what RM said at the UN helped a lot.
Yeah.
And being able to know myself, speak myself, helped me find that confidence within myself. Go forward. Sorry, I didn't expect it to be this emotional.
It happens to me every time too.
Yeah. So
is there a particular quote that you've really like clung to, or is it kind of the whole UN speech?
Yeah, I guess speaking yourself, just those two words have really helped, because I'm a fairly quiet person. I'm introverted, really, and just RM talking about all of that stuff, and how he writes that stuff into the music. It's really interesting, and I got to read a lot more about that sort of thing. Yeah, and I think it's helped me not only as a person, but as a nurse, and because I'm a fairly senior nurse at work, it's helped me a lot with leadership. And I guess when you face through the pandemic, everybody turns to their infection prevention and control nurse and says, what do you think? How do you want us to run this? And I'm going, okay, deep breath, and I have to, get out there and tell people what they need to do to manage this.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
So I think they helped me face this and not run away. And run away in the past is probably what I've done. So,
oh, wow.
After a year of doing COVID, so earlier this year, we had a session at work where people told their experiences of COVID from their perspective. And so, I was telling some quite emotional aspects of what had happened to me during COVID. So some people were not very nice during COVID and in hospitals, and so and some people were exceptionally nice, and you found out who those people were and who were the supportive ones.
Oh, wow.
I personally, I get mortally wounded by people who are nasty to me. So again, that's where BTS have helped me. And, you know, these people that have been nasty, and like I had a doctor tell me that he wanted me to die, you know, because get COVID and die, because then I would realise what pressure they had in the ICU. And yeah, really nasty stuff. And I just went, you know what? I reported him to management. I haven't got time to deal with this. I've got more important things to deal with, you know. And I just, afterwards, I reflected on that and went, wow, I think that's due to BTS and all the flack that they get, because there's BTS haters. They talk about it in their songs,
Yeah.
those that are haters, and how, you know, how they manage to, you know, cope with that.
Right. So you've become a bulletproof nurse.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love that it sounds like BTS is helping you to like assert yourself and kind of deflect nasties. And are there any other things that they've helped you to, like, you know, improve on?
Yeah, finding the joy in the little things, you know, the fact that RM rides his bike along the Han River and, you know, just goes out and Namjooning. Yeah, and he just manages to take photos of the sky and, you know, the trees, and you think, oh, you know, that's really pretty, and you forget. You spend so much time inside because you don't want to go out of your house at the moment that you forget sometimes what's out there.
Right.
Yeah. I'm so thankful that I found them. And the saying that, you know, you find BTS or BTS finds you when you need them the most, I think is so true. And talking to people online about them and, you know, hearing other people's experiences, it seems to be a common thread.